Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope it's a blessed day. I'm doing this several hours later than I normally do. Had things come up, had to take care of. But anyway, we're here now, and we've got another lesson for you. The title of the lesson is called Dumb Dogs. All right. See, when the subject of man's best friend comes up, you either hear praise for the dog or stories of how dumb the dog is. You know, the expression, you dumb dog, has become part of our culture, and it is applied to a person that does not behave as a proper person should. You know, a dog that barks at nothing is considered a dumb dog. A dog that does not bark when there are intruders is also, the owner figures that's a pretty dumb dog. And a dog that acts like a cat, dogs learn by example too, is a dumb dog. And dogs are sometimes the focus of jokes. You know, we've heard, my dog is so dumb, and fill in the blank, whatever you want to. But why are we talking about dumb dogs? And while there are good and bad things we can say about dogs, we can still learn some lessons from them. God uses this phrase describing the watchman he had set forth to protect Israel. And this is one of those negative things we learn about dumb dogs. In Isaiah 56, in verse 10 and 11, he says, his watchmen are blind. All of them know nothing. All of them are dumb dogs, unable to bark, dreamers, lying down, who love to slumber. And the dogs are greedy. They are not satisfied. And they are shepherds who have no understanding. They have all turned to their own way, each one to his unjust gain, to the last one. So yeah, and usually if Isaiah is talking about the watchmen, who are these people? The spiritual leaders, supposed to be guiding the people and warning the people, and they're not doing it. I mean, Ezekiel is going to talk about these same people there in Ezekiel 34, and so they're just not doing their job. That's what it comes down to. So let's break all of these down, all of these different characteristics and what God describes as dumb dogs. And sadly, as we go through this, you're gonna hear things that remind you of certain individuals you might know. All right. First of all, he says blind. You know, the context suggests these watchmen are blind by choice, not because they have no control over it, but they choose to be blind. The Bible speaks of those who choose blindness, and they do. Some people are blinded by the god of this world. Some people are blinded by their own lust. And they choose not to see the truth of God's word, and they choose not to do God's will. And some people cannot help being blind, but to choose blindness is very dumb. And then he says they are ignorant. These choose to know nothing. See, we as Christians are commanded to grow in grace and knowledge, and to be filled with the knowledge of God's will. And acquiring knowledge of God makes us more informed on how to please Him. But these people choose to remain ignorant of God's saving message. But in a way, they still want to enjoy the benefits of being in a relationship with God. Well, that's only going to last so far. That's not going to happen. See, knowledge of God is the greatest acquisition man has ever acquired. I mean, knowing about the God. And many choose to stay ignorant. They definitely don't want to read the Bible because they would learn what God considers sinful, and they don't want to give up whatever sin they might be enjoying. So we know that they're going to be punished. You know, Hosea 4:6, God says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And if you go back to Hosea chapter 4, who does he attribute that to? Yeah, the priests, the ones who are supposed to be teaching the people, the spiritual leaders. I mean, they weren't doing their job, and that's why people are going to be destroyed, because they don't have the knowledge. And many choose to remain ignorant. Some people say ignorance is bliss, but that only goes so far. Then he described them as unable to bark. And this means that when they should be barking, they are not. As Christians, we are to be set for the defense of the gospel, and we should be able to warn people that their souls are in danger. But these mentioned here are so dumb that they have no idea that a warning needs to be sounded. See, error is right under their noses, but they do not know any better, or that what is being done is condemned by God. Well, everybody's doing it, so it must be okay, is their reasoning. And this is a result of, yes, blindness and ignorance that they have. And they're not warning people and telling them. You know, Paul told Timothy, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long suffering and patience. And so, yes, they're unable to do that. They're dreamers. You know, we all know dreamers. People who have big plans, but yet they never come to fruition for some reason. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I got these plans. I'm going to make lots of money. And it's all it is a dream. See, they have grand ideas, and they really think that God needs to get with the program. Usually, they feel that way. God is just in their way as far as they're concerned. They think they can save the world, yet they do not even look to try and save themselves. They imagine that there are other ways in which God will accept them and others. So these people will try any method and any means to acquire knowledge, but the one method they will not use is study the Bible. Now, isn't that dumb? It is. Yes, they're lying down. You know, we're told in the Ephesians and in James, awake from your sleep, awake. And folks, it is crunch time. And we need to keep this in mind. We better be getting our battle gear on, you know, Ephesians 6 and verse 10, because we're running out of time, and so we need to prepare. We need the preparation so that we can enter battle with the forces of evil. And these people are so secure in themselves that they do not feel the need to do any preparation at all. And Satan is prowling about, but they just lay there, usually sleeping, and Satan comes upon them and captures them and basically makes them prisoners. And so you ask the question, how dumb is that? And similar to that is they love to slumber. And, you know, in Proverbs, he talks about, consider the ant, thou sluggard. I mean, these people think that work will harm them in some way. Yet science has proven that inactivity will kill faster than some diseases. And we know that's true. And we're not talking about a Saturday afternoon nap out on the hammock. I mean, we're talking about those who choose to not do anything for themselves or their souls. And that is also dumb. We know some, they don't have a job. Yet they keep thinking, oh, I want to get a job, I want to get a job. But the video game has more excitement for them than going out and trying to find a job. So we know people like that. And then he talks about them, the fact that they are greedy. You know, greed is associated with idolatry. I mean, greed drives most of the world economy these days. We know that's true. And many are not satisfied to just do their job and enjoy life. They want more. And they want it now. And so they gamble with the hope of hitting the big one. They bet on just about anything imaginable. And they jump into the get-rich-quick schemes, even knowing that it's probably a scam. But just the idea, oh, I can make lots of money, I'm going to do this. Greed has to be at or near the top of any list of sins by rank or danger. You know, a Christian learns to be content in all of her situations. That's what Paul said in Philippians 4. He says, I've learned to get by in poverty and prosperity, and I've learned to be content. And that is the secret to happiness and godliness, is contentment. And so greed destroys contentment, and greed is dumb. He also says they're not satisfied. I mean, that's what these people are. They're not satisfied. They're never satisfied. There's some people who are never satisfied. We know that. Just like the grave, there's never enough. I mean, so many people die, and the grave is still looking for more. I mean, the writer in Ecclesiastes talked about the grave. It's never enough. He always wants more. And most people who gamble and hit the big one will usually turn around and spend it all trying to get a bigger one. It is the excitement that you can profit that turns people on. You know, once again, greed is involved in this. And it is no different than not doing your job but expecting to be paid for your time. I mean, let's face it, someone comes in, just sits down, doesn't do anything. I mean, the boss isn't going to keep them on, I mean, unless they're producing. All right, so theft is wrong in any form. And the scriptures mention the wicked who are never satisfied. In fact, it speaks of those who weary themselves. I mean, they wear themselves out going from one place to another, but then they find the strength to practice their wickedness. And who do we know who is never satisfied about anything? Well, you might say, well, our boss, our spouse, and certain politicians, they're never satisfied with the way things are. And don't we consider that to be dumb? He also described these dumb dogs as shepherds with no understanding. See, shepherds were supposed to be the spiritual leaders of the people, and they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing. We're talking about the type of understanding that should get them to start serving God properly. I mean, that's what we need. Wisdom and understanding are crucial elements in our learning about God. But these people choose the wrong understanding. You know, as shepherds, they should have been feeding the sheep or the people the instructions from God. The scriptures tells us to trust in the Lord and lean not on our own understanding. You know, Proverbs 3:5. And then, of course, they turned their own way. In other words, they did their own thing. And this speaks to everyone who chooses a way other than the Lord's way. You know, Jesus said he was the way, John 14:6. But people make their own way. And by doing so, they make their own rules, make their own laws, and do nothing more than ease their own conscience. And that has to be the dumbest thing of all. The sad thing is that we all know people who fit these descriptions. And there seems to be more of them around us all the time. So take warning and avoid the dumb dogs. Don't be like the dumb dogs. Take this warning and examine yourself to make sure you do not display to others that you are a dumb dog. And really, it is your choice. So consider that thought and those things. Sorry I'm late today. Like I said, other things were going on. But anyway, you have a good day, and Lord willing, be back again tomorrow with another lesson. Bye-bye for now.
Very good.